Hey kids, today we're going to do part 2 of Interpret the Remainder. Our learning target is the same as before, and we are remembering that when we're solving a division word problem, the way we interpret the remainder depends on the situation in question, and to interpret means to explain. Let's go ahead and practice again. Nathan spent his summer volunteering at a summer camp. He has to organize 140 soccer balls and put them on shelves in the locker room. Each shelf can hold 16 soccer balls. How many shelves will Nathan need? Now, we're going to focus our attention on this question, how many shelves will Nathan need? So we need to first set up our division, and we're going to solve 140 divided by 16. And we are going to start by taking out groups of 16, and I'm going to start with 16 times 5, and that's going to give me 80. I'm going to subtract 80 from 140, and I will get 60. So I can keep going because 60 is larger than 16, so I can take out more groups. I'm going to take out 3 groups of 16. 16 times 3 is 48. And then I'm going to subtract 48 from 60, and that will give me 12. Now I can see that 12 is less than 16. I can't take out any more groups of 16, so I'm going to finish here, and I'm going to add 5 and 3 together, and that's going to give me 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. And so my quotient and remainder is 8 remainder 12. And I'm going to place the 8 in the ones place of my dividend because it's a one-digit number, remainder 12. So now I have solved the division portion. Now I need to go ahead and decide what all of this means. Looking at the words and looking at the numbers within my division problem, I'm going to decide what these things mean that I'm working with. And just like the previous video with part 1, we created a chart. And so we're going to use that chart to help us. So I have my chart already created here. The dividend is 140, and that's the total number of soccer balls. 140 are the soccer balls. 16 is my divisor, but it's the number of soccer balls that can fit on each shelf. Okay, each shelf can hold 16 soccer balls. Quotient is 8. So when I solve, here's my quotient 8, and it's the number of full shelves of soccer ball. When I divided 140 divided by 16, then my quotient 8 gave me the number of full shelves. So when Nathan put the soccer balls on the shelves, 8 of them were full. 8 shelves were full of soccer balls. And then 12 is my remainder, and that's the number of soccer balls left that are not on a shelf. So 12 soccer balls could not fit on a shelf. However, I need to make sure that I put all of the balls on a shelf. So right now we have 8 full shelves of soccer balls, but we have 12 soccer balls that are not on a shelf. So in this case, what we need to do, we need to answer this question, how many shelves will Nathan need? And he's actually going to need 9 shelves. That's the number of shelves that he's going to need. He's going to need 9 because 8 is not going to be enough. 8 shelves will not be enough because we have 12 balls left over. So we actually have to now add 1 to the quotient. So 8 was our quotient, and we needed to add 1 to the quotient. And when we're adding 1 to the quotient, we are saying that 8 plus 1 equals 9. Exactly what we did. We added 1 more to the quotient to make sure that we had enough shelves for the soccer balls that did not fit on the original 8 shelves. Okay, let's practice another problem. Nathan has a board that is 140 inches long. Let's bring this up, 140 inches long. He wants to cut 16 shelves of equal length from the board and use the entire board. How long will each shelf be? So we've already solved 140 divided by 16. 140 divided by 16 is 8, remainder 12. However, we are answering a different question. This is a different situation. So we want to know how long will each shelf be. This has nothing to do with soccer balls, this time fitting on shelves. This has to do with Nathan having a board that is 140 inches long, and he wants to cut this board. He wants to cut it into 16. He wants to cut 16 shelves of equal length. And that's important for what we need to do. So since we've already solved here, 140 divided by 16 is 8, remainder 12. Let's see what we need to do to solve. Now we are going to once again create a chart, and this chart is representing this new situation. So my dividend is still 140, but this time it's the length of the board, the total length of the board, which is 140 inches. My divisor is 16, but it's the number of shelves cut from the board because he wants to cut 16 shelves. 8 is my quotient, but it's the whole number length of each board. So once he cuts the boards, we need to look at that whole number. So it's going to be 8 whole boards cut. And then 12 is my remainder, but it's the number of inches of board left. So the inches of board that is going to be left over. And so when I answer this question, this time I do need to use the quotient and the remainder. And so when we were looking at our problem, remember what our answer was. Our answer was 8, remainder 12 to 140 divided by 16. This is very important. He wants to use the entire board. So I have to account for the 12 inches of board that's left. I need to use that. And in order for me to do that, I am going to need to make this into a fraction. I'm going to use the quotient, the remainder, and the divisor. In order to answer this question, I need 12 inches of the board as well because he's going to use the entire board. And the way that I would represent that is like this. This would be 8 and 12 sixteenths. Because I can take this 12 inches and I can divide it, or I can cut it into 16 equal pieces. So the board will be 8 and 12/16 inches long. Now, I am going to need to simplify 12/16, this part of my fraction. So I need to divide in order to simplify. I'm going to divide the 12/16 by 4 because 4 goes into 12 and 4 goes into 16. It's the largest factor that can go into 12 and 16. And once I do that, 12 divided by 4 is 3. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And I have to keep my whole number, which is 8. So 8, remember, is the whole number length of each board. This is 8. And so now I can answer the question. Each shelf will be 8 and 3/4 inches long. And what we are doing on this example, we are using the remainder, interpreting the remainder as a fraction. Write the remainder as a fraction. That's this example that you just saw. Make sure that when you're working on the your turn problems that are coming up next, you go back and you reference all parts of the video. Here is what you need to do. You're going to interpret the remainder to solve, label each part of your division equation, and you must use a chart to label each part of your division equation. You have two different problems that you need to work on today. Pay attention to what the question is asking you so you will know how you are interpreting the remainder to solve. Make sure you go onto Edmodo, complete your WISC in your journal, and then turn in your assignment, leaving us a note letting us know you watched the video. See you in class.